Hello, and in today's lesson, we're going to consider the basic logical operators in R. Now, with the basic logical operators, we'll be considering equality operators, relational operators, logical operators, negative operators, and special functions. Okay, now let's dive straight into the lesson. So, with equality operators, we are looking at equal to and not equal to. So assuming I have a value of, let's say, 10, and I want to see if 10 is equal to 20, okay, we are supposed to bring a double equal to sign. Okay, so this way is 10 equal to 20. Okay, and once I run, it says false. Why? Because 10 is less than 20, and 20 is greater than 10. Okay, it is always a double equal to sign and not a single equal to sign. The moment you use a single equal to sign, it means you are trying to assign, okay, it's an assignment operator. So it means you are trying to assign an element into an object. Okay, so it should be this and not this. You see, the moment I even did that, it says what? Invalid do set, left hand side to assignment, meaning that we can assign a number to an object that is also a number. Okay, so please don't use a single equal to sign if you are trying to check if a value is equal to another value. Make sure you use the double equal to sign. All right, now we've done that. We've evaluated for one particular value. Okay, how about we create a vector that whose data is character. Okay, so let's say we want to create a character vector. So we'll assign the name of the object to be pet. Okay, and we're going to assign these pets a dog, okay, a cat, a dog, a cat. We'll also look at a parrot, and lastly a whale. Well, it's obvious a whale can't be a pet, but we live in a strange world. Human beings are being able to tame. So, alright, let me just reformat this. So, let me just reformat this better. Good. Alright, so now let's run. And once we run and we call pets, it says in the object called pets, we have dog, cat, parrot, and whale in there. Okay, now we want to check if pets is equal to parrot. Okay, we want to check if pets is equal to parrot. We know we have parrot here. Okay, but we want to check using the equal to sign. Okay, to see if truly parrot exists in pets. So we'll say pets equals parrot, and the moment we run, okay, this result has been displayed in the console. It says false, false, true, false. Okay, it evaluated it element wise, so it compared parrot to the first element, and since parrot and dog are different, it said false. And then it went to cat and parrot are different, so it says false as well. And parrot to parrot are the same, so it says true. And um, whale to parrot are not the same, so it says false as well. Okay, so as you can see, you would realize that the results given to you here are in logical are in a logical form or a format. Okay, are in a logical format. Okay, so how about if we want to see the actual value that has been evaluated as true in this case? So to do that, we'll need to call the parent object. Now the parent object is what? Pets. Okay, and then after calling the parent object, we now enter the query. We said we want to check if pets is equal to what? If pets is equal to parrot. Okay, and we run. Okay, so now it means that the true statement evaluated here has now been displayed as what? Parrot. Okay, the true statement there has now been evaluated as parrot. Okay, now let's check if pets is equal to lion. Okay, we know that in the object there are no lions, so there's nothing like a lion here. Okay, but we want to check if truly there are or there are not. Okay, so we would say is pets equal to lion, and you see it says false, 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 meaning that there is absolutely no element there that tallies with lion. So what if we want to check all the we want to um, check for actual values and not true or false statement? So we'll just say pets, like I said, square bracket. We'll wrap this in a square bracket, and it says the character is 0, meaning that when it's evaluated everything, the results over there was 0. Alright, so let's move to the next one, that is not equal to. So with a not equal to, it is an exclamation mark and then an equal to sign. An exclamation mark and an equal to sign would evaluate for not equal to. Please take note, an exclamation mark and an equal to sign will evaluate to not equal to. Not equal to sign and exclamation mark and equal to sign. Okay, alright, so now with not equal to, since we have created um since we've created an object called pet, okay, we want to return all the elements in pet except, let's say, cat. Okay, so we want to bring out dog, parrot, whale, and ignore cat. Okay, so to do that, we could say pets. Okay, pets, and then not equal to cat. Okay, and the moment you run this, you see it says true, false, true, true. Okay, so it checks for cat in it checks for cat with the first element, which is dog, and realizes cat is not equal to dog. Okay, but cat is equal to this, and we said it should return all the elements except the one that tallies with cat. Okay, so it shouldn't bring that of cat out. That is basically not equal to. Okay, so over here it has given us a logical output, and once again we want to see for ourselves all those true statements, ignoring the false statement. So we call the parent object again, that is pets. Okay, and then we wrap this in the square bracket. So the moment we run, it says dog, parrot, and whale. Okay, because you said give us all the elements in pet except the one not equal to cat. So meaning that leave cat out, exempt cat from the result you would give. Okay, all right, so let's try another one. Let's create a numerical vector. So I would create a numerical vector and I'll call that vector numbers. I'll say numbers 1, okay, or let's say number 1, okay. And then in number 1, we'll assign these values into it. So 10, 15, 4, 7, 9, 22, and 12. So we are assigning these values into an object called number 1. Okay. Now, what do we want to do here? We want to check, or we want to bring out all those values not equal to 15. So it means that bring out all the values except if, or let's say bring out all those values, but if there's a value there that is equal to 15, ignore that value. Okay, don't bring that value in the result. Just give us all those values that are necessary, but remove 15 from it. So say number 1, okay, exclamation mark and equal to, so not equal to 15, like we said. When you run this, it says true, false, true, 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 true. If we want to check the actual values there, we call the parent object, which is number 1, okay, and then we wrap this in its square bracket. Okay, so wrap this here. So the moment we run now, it gives us all those values except the one not equal to 15. Okay, it is quite tricky though, but I hope you understand, because we said not equal to 15 means return all the values that are not equal to 15. So if 15 is equal to 15, don't return it. If 10 is not equal to 15, return it. Okay, good. So we head to relational operators. So for relational operators, we'll be looking at greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. So let's start with greater than or equal to. So let's say we have a value of 10 and we want to check if 10 is greater than 5. Okay, when we run this, it says true. You know, the greater than sign has to do with the part that the mouth open wide to. Okay, so here we have the mouth of the greater than side, okay, opening to 10, meaning that 10 is greater than 5. This is basic maths. I'm not supposed to be teaching this. Yeah, so we said is 10 greater than 5. It says true, 10 is greater than 5. Now what if we want to check if 10 is greater than any of the values in numbers 1? Okay, it is possible. So we would say is 10, okay, now greater than any of the values in numbers 1, okay, number 1, and when we run, it says false, false, true, true, false, false, true, 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 false, false, meaning that 10, okay, there are values in numbers 1 or number 1 that 10 is greater than, but like I said, it has evaluated it as a logical output. We want to see those values, okay, that 10 is greater than. So we'll need to wrap this in the parent object. So the parent object here is number 1, okay, square brackets, and then we wrap this into that. At the moment we run, it says 10 is greater than 4, 7, and 9. Alright, so we can now move on to the less than, okay, the less than sign. So we want to check if, let's say, a value of 2 is less than 50. Well, we know 2 is less than 50, right? So if you run this, it says true, 2 is less than 50. 2 is less than 50. How about if we want to check, how about if we would like to know if, let's say, 60 is less than 10. When we run this, it evaluates to false because 60 is not less than 10. Okay, all right. So the same thing we did, we want to check if, let's say, 5. Okay, we want to check if, let's say, in numbers 1 or in number 1, in the number 1 object, there are values that are less than 5. Okay, we want to check in number 1 object, are there values less than 5? Okay, so it's going to be the number 1 object, we want to check those values that are less than 5. So when we run it, we have false, false, true, false, 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 false. Likewise, we want to see which value exactly is 5, or which value exactly in number 1 is less than 5. Okay, so we'll bring the parent object, which is number 1, call the square bracket, and we wrap this in the square bracket. Okay, I'm just copying it because I don't want to write the same thing again. Okay, so it says the value in number 1 that is less than 5 is 4. Okay, good. Let's dive straight into the greater than or equal to sign. The greater than or equal to sign. Okay, so for the greater than or equal to sign, we want to check, for instance, we want to check if in number 1, okay, we have values that are greater than or equal to 10. Now with the greater than or equal to sign in R, it has to be the greater than symbol, the greater than sign followed by an equal to. It should be together. It shouldn't be greater than and equal to. Not this way, please. Okay, the moment you do this, you see over here it says unexpected token. Okay, it should be together, so this evaluates to greater than or equal to. Okay, so greater than or equal to, we said we want to check all those values in number 1 that are greater than or equal to 10. So when we run this, it says true, true, false, 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 true, true. It means that we have about 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 values in number 1 that are greater than or equal to 10. Likewise, we want to see those numbers. So we'll call the parent, which is number 1, square bracket, and then we wrap this in here. And when we run, it says those numbers that evaluated to true in the first query was 10, 15, 12, and 22. And as you can see, these values are either greater than or equal to 10. We have one that is equal to 10 and the rest are greater than 10. Alright, now we'll move on to the next thing. We'll move on to the less than or equal to sign. So just like the greater than or equal to sign follow the greater than symbol and an equal to symbol, for the less than, it follows the less than symbol and then an equal to sign. Okay, so for instance, we want to check those values in number 1, okay, that are less than or equal to, let's say, 15. So we are evaluating all those numbers in number 1 that is less than or equal to 15. So less than or equal to 15, not this way, please. it should be knitted together, okay, no space in between. Good. So when we run this, it says true, 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 false, true. So it says we said we want to check all those in number 1 that are less than or equal to 15. Now let's have a look at those numbers themselves. So we call the parent square bracket, we copy this, we paste it here, and we run, and it says that these are the values that are less than or equal to 15. So 10 is less than 15, 15 is equal to 15, 4 is less, 7 is less, 9 is less, 12 is less. Alright. Now to the next thing on the line, it's logical operators. Logical operators, okay? So with logical operators, we have the ampersand, okay? The ampersand. So a single ampersand evaluates to element-wise logical AND, okay? That is AND, as in 2 and 3, okay? So AND, we use the ampersand. And then we have the double. The double has to do with evaluating only the first element of each condition. Okay, for this, which is the double, I'll talk more about it in the next video. That is going to be if and else statements. Okay, so I'll just explain, or we'll just look at something relating to the single ampersand, and in the next video I would explain these ones. Good. So let's say we want to check, still in number 1, in the number 1 object, we want to check all those values that are greater than 5, okay, and less than 15. Okay, so let me call number 1 for you to see something. So in number 1 we have 10, 15, 4, 7, 9, 22, and 12. Now what we want to check is, we want to see those numbers that are greater than 5. Okay, in number 1, which numbers are greater than 5? It's going to be these and that. They are greater than 5. These and that. Okay, now we want to check, like I said, those numbers that are greater than 5. So we say greater, numbers greater than 5, and we run it. It says true, true, false. Okay, true, true, false, true, 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 true. Okay, if we want to check those numbers, we'll simply have to wrap it in a square bracket as usual. So when we run, oh sorry, number 1, yeah, number 1, sorry. Okay, so these are the numbers that are greater, sorry, yeah, these are the numbers that are greater than 5. Okay, these are the numbers that are greater than 5. Now we said we want to check those numbers that are greater than 5 first, and then less than 15. Okay, less than 15. So we've evaluated for those numbers that are greater than 5. Now those numbers that are greater than 5, we want to check those that are less than 15. So we'll say, we'll bring the ampersand, so and, okay, number 1, and those numbers less than 15. Okay, so this is it. This is basically it. We first checked those numbers greater than 5 and less than 15. So if I should run this, it says true, false, false, true, true, false, true. Okay, and if I should let you see the actual values, these are the actual values. Okay, so it means that we first check those numbers that were greater than 5, and these were the numbers that were greater than 5. Now in these numbers that were greater than 5, we want to see those same numbers that are less than 15, and that is what you have here. So though all these numbers were greater than 5, okay, some of them were less than 15. That is 10, 7, 9, and 12. But 15 and 22 are equal to and greater than 15. Okay, good. Now we move on to the logical OR sign. Okay, that is just a vertical bar. For the double one you have here, just like I said, I will explain it in the next video. That is if and else statement. Okay, so let's check for element-wise logical OR. Okay, so assuming we want to check if a particular number is greater than, let's say, numbers in number one object, or less than, okay, number one object, we will bring the vertical bar or the pipe, okay, the vertical bar sign. So let's say we want to check those numbers in number one object that are less than 5 or greater than 10. Okay, less than 5 or greater than 10. So number one object, those that are greater than 5, then we say or number one less than what, 10. Okay, so we want to check those numbers that are greater than 5 or, okay, less than 10. So when we run this, it says true, 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 true. Now if we should just evaluate or yeah, let's just check those numbers first. So say square bracket, we take this line of code and we paste it here and we run. Okay, we have these numbers. So basically what happened here was this: it first evaluated, okay, the numbers that are greater than 5. Now which numbers are greater than 5? If I should take this part of the code out for you to see, you will notice that these numbers are greater than 5. Okay, but then the moment you bring or less than 10, okay, or less than 10, it means that it should merge all those that are greater than 5, okay, together with all those that are less than 10. But in the single ampersand we did, when we checked for end, okay, it evaluated the first one, and then out of the result it had for the first one, it checked it with the second query. Okay, but for all considers everything. So it says numbers that are greater than 5 or, so you could include them as well. Good. Now we go to negative operators. Just like I said for the double vertical bar, I would explain it in the if and else statement. Okay, so now we go to the negative operators. So with the negative operators, we just bring an exclamation sign. Okay, so let's say I create an object called alphabet, and I assign a value of, let's say, 15 into alphabet, and I run. It has been stored. Now if I want to negate, okay, alphabet, I would say not, okay, not alphabet. Then it says false. It means that you should understand. It means that, okay, alphabet, we all know, is equal to what, 15, but we're only saying alphabet that is not equal to 15, or change alphabet such that it will not be equal to, so it has not evaluated it as false. Okay, that means that not alphabet, that is, so alphabet is equal to 15, which is true. So not alphabet is going to be what? False. Okay, alphabet is equal to 15. Not alphabet is what? Alphabet is not equal to 15, which is what? False. Okay, all right. Finally, we head to special functions. So with the special functions, we have any and all. Any and all. Okay, so for the any function, what it does is that it checks element by element and evaluates if a particular element in that particular object is true. Okay, if it checks and just one element evaluates to true, it carries out the task you wanted to do. Okay, but for the all function, it checks element wise to see if all the elements are true before it carries out the task. Okay, so if there is a single element that evaluates to false, the all function or the task you want to be carried out won't be carried out because there is at least a single false statement over there. Okay, so to demonstrate that, I'll create an object called logic1, and in logic1 I'm assigning true, false, and true into it, and then I run. Okay, so I want to check if any is equal to true, if any of the elements in logic1 is equal to true. So any logic1, and the moment oh, I haven't run this, sorry. Okay, so if any logic1 is equal to true, and the moment I run it, it says true, there is at least one element in logic1 that is equal to true. Okay, now for the or, just like I explained, it evaluates if all the elements are equal to true. If all the elements evaluates to true, it means that the task you wanted to carry out can be carried out successfully. We'll see some of these things as we dive deeper in our programming. Okay, so now we want to check if all the elements in logic1 is equal to true, and the moment I run this, it says false. Why? Because there is at least, okay, one false statement here. So all logic1 is not equal to true. Alright, so this brings us to the end of the tutorial. I'd like you guys to try your hands on it step by step, and I'll see you in the next video.